We've been dreading this one. I mean, we love our guy, Todd Fuhrman. It's Todd's Odds, brought to you by FanDuel. He's our sports betting analyst. He joins us from Las Vegas each and every week. And, of course, this week, Todd, I see you're wearing something basically to troll us.
Neutral, Jay.
You're neutral.
It's neutral.
Yeah. That's true. In a way, it is neutral because what was maybe not good for Team Canada in Connor Hellebuyck's performance should hopefully end up being very good for the Winnipeg Jets as the regular season resumes. Okay, first of all, I want to give you a moment to have your say on this American victory on Sunday morning. So, Todd Fuhrman, you have the floor. USA wins gold. Your thoughts?
The question I have for you, Jay, would it have been too obnoxious if I decided to wear these pants for our segment, which would mean wearing pants for the first time as long as we've been doing this, or this particular hat to celebrate the gold medal victory for the red, white, and blue? But all kidding aside, when you look at the dynamics that we saw unfold in the Olympics, the two best teams had a chance to prove their mettle, pun intended, for the gold in Milan early on Sunday morning. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sit here and say that Team USA was the better hockey team, that they deserved to win that game by any stretch of the imagination. There was one player that was better, and it just happened to be Connor Hellebuyck, putting to bed the narrative that he can't perform on a big stage, that he can't come up big when the chips are down. He was outstanding. You look at the underlying metrics, the timeliness of his saves, the image that we have of him using his paddle on Devon Toews that staved off what would have been the game-winning goal by all intents and purposes. And Hellebuyck was extremely deserving. The other thing, look, Team USA had a knack for finding those timely goals. It just so happened it came from the first family of hockey, apparently, with Quinn Hughes getting the game winner against Sweden in overtime, and, of course, Jack Hughes beating Jordan Binnington 5-0. But Team Canada has nothing to hang their heads about by any stretch of the imagination. And, Jay, I'll go one step further as well and say this might be exactly what this rivalry needs going forward, because suddenly the hunter is now the hunted, and we'll see if Team USA can live up to those lofty expectations when they run it back in the World Cup in 2028 and, of course, the Olympics in the French Alps in 2030.
Todd, we now have to turn our attention back to the National Hockey League, which returns Wednesday. And just a reminder, more bad news for Canada, Todd. Only two Canadian teams currently in a playoff spot. That would be Montreal and Edmonton. So the two other Eastern Canadian teams that are not currently in a playoff spot, Ottawa and Toronto, would you bet on either of them to make the postseason at this point?
I actually will. I'm not going to bet on the Maple Leafs. I think they're going to be smarter when it comes to potentially selling at the deadline rather than trying to catch lightning in a bottle and make a late dash for one of those wild card spots. But I'm actually bullish on Ottawa coming out of this Olympic break. You dig into the Senators' underlying metrics, and for me, Jay, despite what their win-loss record says and their point accumulation, they're a top 6, top 8 team when they're healthy and they have their full complement of weapons. They're dead last in the league in save percentage right now at under 87%, but we started to get glimpses of what a healthy Linus Ullmark can look like in 2 games heading into the Olympic break. If he's able to regain even the slightest in that Vezina form, this Ottawa team is extremely live to make the postseason, and they are going to be the thorn in any team from the Atlantic or Metro side in the playoffs, given how good they've been on the defensive end, just with a little bit of positive regression.
Okay, we're respectfully not going to talk about Vancouver's chances of making the playoffs because if you're a Vancouver fan, you don't want to you want that top pick. You want to finish last. So the FanDuel folks, very interesting here, Todd. Out west, the Jets and Flames both sit 11 points out of that final wild card spot as you and I speak right now. But according to FanDuel, the Flames are 30-1 to make the playoffs. The Jets 9.5-1 to make the playoffs. Do the folks at FanDuel believe that that incredible performance by Connor Hellebuyck on Sunday morning is enough to propel them potentially back to the postseason?
Jay, the producers in my ear are saying we have to be tighter, so I'll go no and no. Moving on to the next question that you have. I don't think Calgary and Winnipeg fans are going to have anything to celebrate when we look towards Game 83 and beyond. Just play for some of that draft stock, and in the case of Winnipeg, try and figure out what's gone wrong to the first portion of the season, because there's no doubt they've been one of the most disappointing teams given how improbable their meteoric rise was just a season ago.
Okay, Todd. Right now, in your Stanley Cup portfolio, you have 2 teams, the Minnesota Wild and the Ottawa Senators. Okay, 11 days out from the deadline. And, of course, Trade Center coming up on TSN. Any other teams you'd like to add to your Stanley Cup portfolio?
Can I make Bill Guerin acquiring Vinny Trocheck at the trade deadline, Jay, like a minus 3,000 favorite, given the way he killed penalties for Team USA and to bolster the Wild's chances? I'm still big on both of these teams. I actually added a little bit more at Ottawa, not with our friends at FanDuel. Found a better price out here in the desert, right around 100-1, so bolstered that position a bit more. There's not a team that really catches my eye. I think the folks at FanDuel have these teams priced correctly. The one thing that I am a little bit curious about is why Colorado is such a shorter shot to win the Stanley Cup than the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa's health is going to trend in the right direction. I know Colorado will get some reinforcements as well, but the potential road for Colorado coming out of the Western Conference, maybe beating the Utah Mammoth in the opening round, going through the winner of the Dallas Stars, Minnesota Wild, and whoever emerges from the Pacific, in my opinion, a lot tougher on paper as things stand right now than what Tampa and Carolina would have to deal with in the East. So for me, I'd be closest to adding Tampa, but 5-1, not enough meat on the bone to add to our portfolio just yet.
Well, Todd, the folks in Winnipeg, if nowhere else in this country, absolutely love you. So don't forget to book your ticket to Canada's Midwestern capital, the Paris of the Midwest. And yeah, I mean, you can bring your hat if you want, but I don't know how that's going to go for you.
Jay, I keep waiting for you to invite me up to the Peg so you and I can take the city by storm and celebrate the Grey Cup in person together. Been waiting for this invitation for years. Eventually, it'll be in my inbox.
Here's what I know. The Palomino will never close. It'll just change locations. This is Todd Fuhrman. Thank you, Todd. You're the best. And I know Todd will be watching Trade Center Friday, March the 6th. Brought to you by our friends at Harvey's. It is Canada's #1 trade deadline show.